Okay, so good morning all. I hope I'm audible.
Good morning,
Good
sir.
afternoon.
Okay, so let us wait 2-3 minutes. It is 12:11 right now and 40 students only. So at 12:15 I will start. So continuously in each and every lecture, students are joining too late. I don't know why it is happening. Okay, so now I shall start. I hope my screen is visible.
Yes, it is.
Yes, sir, visible.
Yes.
Okay. Okay, so if you remember about the last lecture, then we have started a topic that is geometrical modeling for virtual world, in which we have considered 3D Euclidean space. If you remember in the previous lecture that I said, if my virtual world is going to represented by a notion that is W, then it is subset of my 3D Euclidean space where such kind of coordinates were there that I have mentioned. Right hand coordinate system we have used, so where it will X, Y and Z coordinates. So whenever we are going to make a virtual world, in virtual world definitely there will be object. If there is object, then definitely its modeling is required. In modeling, not only construction or to develop the model, but also the movement and orientation, or you can say translation or position change of the object will also take place. As I already told you in the last lecture only, that so many features that we are learning here is not going to be applied during the development. Reason is that these things are going to be done by our tool. If you
Sir,
remember,
can you start recording?
yeah, that I forgot. That's why I'm just. Yeah. So that we have also gone through in the last lecture, that so many features that we are going to learn here, we are not going to apply during the development. Why we are not going to apply? Because these things are going to be done by our tools. Our tools like what? Blender. Right now in our laboratory, we are using Blender. You can use any other tools like Maya also is there. Some maybe other tools that can be utilized to development. So in that you have to only use as a GUI. You will do the drag and drop, and in background the coordinates are going to be changed. If it is related to translation, then the translation type of changes will take place. If it is related to the orientation or rotation, then that will be changed. Second thing, we have also seen in the last lecture that why we have used the basic unit as a triangle that is going to be utilized to draw the objects, and for that we have discussed these things, the structure of the dolphin, where you can say multiple millions or thousands, hundreds of triangles are there. It depends upon objects that how many triangles are going to be utilized, and it depends upon also the how much curve structures are there, curve or you can say shearing is there. Accordingly the tiny rectangles are going to be used. So now you can imagine that if we are going to apply any kind of operation over this object, this is the dolphin, but it can be anything in our virtual world, any object xyz can be. So suppose I want to apply, you can say apply the position change the position of the object in virtual world. Like if you talk about the world, real world, in your real world, the how many type of objects you are seeing? You are saying that some objects are always stationary, and some objects you are saying that it is a movement based. If you see the tree is a stationary object in the real world. If you see animals, human being, any of portable things, then you can see these are the movable. Same way, when we are going to make a virtual world, then also we have to think about it. We have to also make sure that these all features, these all things to be happen, and these all thing how it will be happen, that we known as the movable means position is changing. Second, rotation, orientation, how it is aligned with respect to your plane, with respect to any surface or anything which is with respect you want orientation. So these two terms are very important while making the virtual world as a model. So position with nothing but you can say in other word it is known as translation also. We will show it mathematically, translate the object, and second is the orientation, nothing but it is also rotation. So by these two kind of thing, we can do apply any kind of movement over an object. So suppose I have to apply a translation or rotation over this dolphin object. So definitely in Euclidean space, as I said, that is W, that is Euclidean space R3, and here is the coordinate, that is Y, X, and Z. So definitely these all triangles you are able to see, these triangles that you are able to see definitely have one coordinate. Mainly primitives, if you will talk, then each and every triangle have minimum 3 coordinate. Otherwise I also told you that to draw a one line there is infinite number of points, but in computer system we cannot work over infinite, something finite service, so start and end. So draw a triangle, there is definitely 3 primitive. So whenever I want to do it changes with this position of this object, then what I have to do? I have to do changes over the point of these triangles. Point of this triangle. Here, if I will draw this little bit, definitely it will have some XYZ coordinate, definitely each and every point. As I said, this is coordinate. So definitely here suppose x1, y1, z1. Here suppose x2, y2, z2. Here also x3, y3, and z3. So whenever you are going to apply any kind of rotation or translation, what you are going to do? You are going to do changes in these points only, in these points. If you will do these changes in this point, then definitely the effect will be visible. So that we have to discuss in further slides. Now, the question that arises is that suppose you have drawn this object in Blender, suppose this object has been drawn. So you can see that so many sides and points are shared. So many points and sides are shared. If you see here, if I will particularly take this part, so how many triangles are shared here? One, two. This is, suppose I will keep number one. This is two, three, four, five, and six. So if I will go to store the primitive, so it's mean that this point is going to be stored how many times? 6 times. One time for the triangle 1, second time for triangle 2, was second, third time triangle 3, fourth time triangle 4, fifth time for triangle 5, and sixth time for triangle 6. So what we have to do, we have to make such a logic that if some points or faces are shared, then it must be saved only one time. Saved only one time, and it will keep the track that what is its neighbor. So that kind of data structure which is going to store it into the manner that we are also going to keep track that what for this particular point, what are the upcoming and going arrow, so that we don't need to make storage for a single point which is shared by multiple triangle again and again. And that kind of data structure is known as doubly connected edge list. Doubly connected edge list, sometimes it is also known as half edge structure, in which you can see that we are going to not only store the primitives for a particular triangle, but we are also going to store that how many edges are coming to that and how many is going toward, that is previous, next, like this. So we have to store those things so that we don't need to store the points again and again, because the operation we have to perform like translation, rotation over Blender or Maya, you again and again I'm saying that you are not going to recognize it that you are doing actually, but you will just do the drag and drop your mouse through your mouse. But in background, whenever in the toolbox you will see the XYZ, whenever you will see the XYZ, whenever you will apply any kind of drag and drop, then definitely this XYZ is going to be used. So this is the one data structure which we use to store the edges and faces of that object. And you know that edges and faces is nothing but it is the points. That points information is to be stored, and how the points are going to be connected. If this is the 2 points I have to store, so how these points are going to connect it, that we have to just store that link to be stored, that this point is going to be linked with this. So it's mean that if the multiple triangle is going to share the single edge, so you have to not store the coordinate of this point again and again. You have to just see that to how many or to which point it is going to connect. If there is multiple, so you can restore it for the multiple. So this is one data structure that is utilized by our tool to store the points, or you can say faces and edges of the object. So as I already told you that whenever a virtual world, so in this virtual world there will be objects. Suppose these are the objects. So few of the objects will be movable, few of the object will be stationary or fixed. Inside versus outside means that when you are going to make an object in computer system, so maybe suppose I am going to draw this one. So if I will consider it as an sphere. So one thing is that the internal part of that object will be fully empty. I'm not talking about this rigid body. If the rigid body, then internal part will be also filled. Internal part will be also filled. Sometimes it is also possible that this is vacant, completely like a football you will see, and then second time you will see the your marbles. Marble is also a sphere, your football is also a sphere, but one is inside it is completely vacant, second thing is that completely filled. So such kind of objects are there, so that is also possible in the virtual worlds, that we have to take care. Second thing, what it say that when you are going to draw the objects in the real world, you have to make a proper convention, like it said an example that if one point is 100, so if I will say this is my XYZ coordinate. So it's mean that in x coordinate, what is this? It is origin. Suppose it is origin. Origin. And if it is saying 1, 0 is from 0 in x coordinate, it is 1. So it says that when you are defining the point, you should define that what is the meaning of it. If I say 1 in x coordinate, it's mean either 1 meter, 1 kilometer from 0, 1, or you can say 100 meter or whatever. Okay, that need to be completely defined so that whenever we are making the objects and we are going to assemble it and we are going to give experience to the user, so user should also get an experience that object is away from me, it is close to me. How the user will get that experience? That is only the position is changing. So for that also we have to be make clear that when 100 is mentioned, then it's mean what? 100 means from origin. 1 means how many kilometer, meter, centimeter, whatever is away. What is meaning? So you may also know that when we are going to plot a map, so in that map also they write a restriction that 1 centimeter is equivalent to 10 kilometer. So when we are going to, because that map is political map or geographical map, so when someone is going to follow that map, so they can also analyze that if between the two cities they have mentioned 10 centimeter gap or 10 centimeter distance in the map, it means that it is 100 kilometer. For giving a accurate, almost accurate feeling, those who are seeing that map, same in virtual world also, when you are going to define this coordinates, that is if it is 10 or 010, so what is the meaning in the number says? Means how much far away you are from the origin. That is also very must. Reason is to, we are going to give experience to the user. That's why it is must be defined. Now we see that if we are going to do these all changes, let us take an object, this one. So what this is going to define you x, y, z. So very first thing that we are going to learn is the translation or position of the object in the virtual world. So suppose a object is here. Its point is, suppose I'm not going to take triangle right now, just simple one object, x, y, and z, and this is our origin. Now suppose I want to do the changes in terms of position. So if I want to change the position of this object, either two options are there. Either I can bring it close to the origin or I can make it away from the origin. Okay. So suppose I want to make it away or whatever, close to the object. It means that I have to do some add-on or some subtraction in these quantities like this. Suppose after changing the position, this become x dash, then it will become y dash, and it will become z dash. So if I will say the new position or new coordinate of the point will be this one, x plus, suppose I did a position change in x coordinate is what amount? Xt amount. Okay. Similarly for y axis, what I did changes yt amount. It can be positive, negative. It can be positive or negative. No issue. And z in z axis we did it zt. And I can write it that this xt can be positive or negative. Because if I want to bring it close to that, I have to do the negative. If I want to make it far from this, then it will be positive. If no changes, it will be 0, 0. So it means that for changing the position, this changes has to be done. This kind of changes has to be done. So you can say the translation kind of changes in any of the object in virtual world is just additive. You have to add something to this point. So this is the operation to change the position of single point. But in real world, what it will be? It will be objects. Some objects will be there. So very basic example is taken because all the object that we are going to make is through the triangles. So they have said that triangles. So if such kind of triangles are there and 3D triangles are there, that I cannot draw here to show you that it is 3D, but you assume that it is 3D because we are going to draw it into the XYZ Euclidean space. So suppose the points are like this. This one is x1, y1, z1. This is x2, y2, z2, and this one is x3, y3, z3. So what you can say, these are the three basic primitive, because to draw a triangle you must have three coordinates. Similarly, if the broader objects are there like the dolphin, then it's mean that the number of primitives will be more. Number of primitives will be more. Why? If maybe there is 100 of triangle, then thousands of primitives will be there. And when I want to do the changes in the position of the object, then we have to do changes in all the primitives. Like here in the 3D triangle, the three primitives are there. Primitive 1, primitive 2, primitive 3. If I want to do the changes, I have to do the change in all three. Why I cannot do, can anyone answer me? Why I cannot do the change only in any two primitive or any one primitive? What will happen if I will do this? Suppose I am going to change the primitive 1 only. I am not going to change primitive 2 or 3. Then what will happen? That will be considered as a position change. Quickly. Hello? Hello. My question is that, can I change only one primitive or two primitive? हाँ ना बोलो ना.
But sir, for that we have to take other primitive as 0.
Suppose this one is there, x, y, x3, y3. I am not going to do change with this primitive. Fine. And I am going to change this one and this one. Then it is allowable. What you feel? Just I am not from your technical knowledge. What your perception? That it will be considered as a position change. Only change, I am going to change in the primitive of this x1, y1, z2, z1 and x2, y2, z2. Then it will be considered as position change. Quickly tell me. One coordinate I am not going to change. Other two I am going to change. Then it will be considered as a position change, yes or no? Quickly tell me.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so let us learn it through the example. To join through mobile phone or something. Just a minute, guys. Okay, sorry for the inconvenience, because few of your classmates are here and they are busy in the NAC interactions, so that's why they came for the attendance. Okay, so let us learn it through the, because we have minimum space, so we will go through the 2D only, that we will see. Let me erase. Eraser is not working. Erase. Suppose I have to take it. Let us delete it. Yeah. Now see. Now see that what is going to happen if you are only going to change in a one or two coordinate. Suppose I will, for example, just take into the two coordinate. If it is a triangle in the two, D, x coordinate, y coordinate, x1, y1 right now. Here x2 and y2. Here x3, y3. Now suppose we fixed it. We are not going to change this one, but I am going to change in x1, y1. So suppose I did an add-on 1 point in each. So suppose this become now x1 plus 1. This become y1 plus 1. This become x2 plus 1. This become y2 plus 1. So what kind of thing is going to change here? See, this point is fixed. I didn't change x3, y3, so it will remain at their position. No change. But the changes is there. One unit has been added in x1. So it's mean that this line is going to be little bit up. Little bit up. And y1 is also has been changed. X1 is also changed. So you can say some declinement is there, like this one. Some kind of changes. Then what is happened? X2, y2 also I have added 1 unit. So this line will also little bit extended in x2 as well as y2. Suppose some kind of thing like this, and then I will. So now you tell me, after do such kind of changes, you will consider it as a position change or something else. It is position change. You tell me now. The position of the triangle has been changed, or you can say the whole object has been distorted here. It is not only changed. Position of the object has not only changed, but the object has been distorted. In a real world, when any object is moving here and there in the real world, that is, you can say universe, then the object is going to be distorted. Yes or no? If the position of any object in the real world, like we people, we are changing our position coordinate, so our shape is going to be distorted. Hello?
No, sir.
No, so it's mean that you cannot say it is a position change, that you are fixing one coordinate and changing other coordinate. It will distort the object. So whenever we are going to do change in the position or rotate an object, then make sure the object must not be distorted. Same kind of shape or volume, whatever it is, that must be remain unchanged. Then only. Otherwise, those things when you are going to alter the size, it is comes under the scaling feature, scale the object, then shear the object. These are the different thing completely. Scaling means making it double, making it half. Shear means with respect to any one surface, you just press it means apply the pressure or tension so that it will be shape is going to be distorted, means make it distorted shape. Okay, so but we when we are learning only, and we have to learn that also, I will tell you those things also, because in the artificial world it is allowed, we can do this, we can apply the shear also, we can do scaling also, because when we are seeing something from away, very far away, then it is size, but what we see is very small. When we see that object from very close, then object is by the view is going to be very big. So that is because of scaling factor. So you have to apply the scaling. But when I am talking right now about the change in position or rotation, then you should make sure when we are going to do the change, the object shape should not be distorted. So that's why we have to do the changes in all the three coordinates. In all the three coordinates. Same way, and that should be of the same amount. You can see na, that is of same amount. See xt, yt, zt, xt, yt, zt, zt, yt, xt. It is of same amount. Then only the distortion will not take place. If you say here x will be 1 and here xt will be 2, then it will make it distorted. Then it will make it distorted. Are you getting me or not? Hello? Hello. Please tell me.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
So the amount of change that you are going to do in the primitive must be uniform. That's why if you see the for the triangle, the amount of change has been did for change doing the change in the position. It is x1 plus xt, x2 plus xt, x3 plus x3. Same way, y1 plus yt, y2 plus yt, y3 plus yt, z1 plus. Other if these things are going to be changed, then I can also write na xt1, xt2, xt3. But it is not like way. It is same amount of change we are going to do. Then only we can only get an experience of change in position. I hope it is clear. And suppose I am to do it for the dolphin. So in dolphin there is multiple triangles. So multiple primitives. If multiple primitives, so you have to do the change in all multiple primitives. Suppose it is 1,000. So in all thousands primitive, you have to do the same amount of change. Then the whole object will be considered as position change. Are you getting me or not? Suppose I have to do the changes in this. Well, so what you have to do? Dolphin, sorry. If it is dolphin, so you have to do changes in all this point, every point, same amount of change you have to do. If you will do this, then what will happen? This object will be changed. The position of this object will be changed. I am getting me or not? Hello. Okay, now let us go through some visualized experience here. Here you can say this is the original 3D triangle. Right now, sorry, we are going through the 2D because it is very easy to understand. And same thing you can apply for 3D also. And the process of applying is complex. I'm also agree that the process of applying the operation of 2D in 3D is not that much easy. But for understanding purpose, let us understand what is happening for the change in position. This is one triangle. Its three primitives are there: 15, 15, 20, 10, 10, 10. Fine. So right now they are going to make it close to the origin. Suppose it is origin 0, 0. So if they want to move the object near to the this, you can say this one close to the origin, so they did this kind of change, this kind. So object is here and this object has been moved to this. So for moving this, what they did changes in the primitive. You can say 15 minus 8. Here if you say 15 minus 8, 15 minus 8, then 15 minus 7. Here you can say 10 minus 8 and 3 minus, sorry, this one 10 minus 8 and 10 minus 3. Fine. And here if you say 20 minus 8 and sorry 20 minus 8 and 10 minus 7. So you can see now the amount of change is same. Are you agree? This you are seeing now 8 7 8 7, it is 7 8 and 7. That's why this object now become close to the origin. This object now become close to the origin. Now second way also they did. Suppose I want, let us take one example. I am seeing any object and the object is movable and I am also movable. And what are the two possibilities here? Either the object can be shifted toward me or I can shift toward the object. These two things is possible, na? Hello?
Yes, sir.
If you are seeing any
Yes, sir,
object,
possible.
so we can also move toward the object. And now if the object is portable, then that object can also shift it toward us. So these two features has been shown here also. So here in one option you can see what happened. Object has been migrated toward the origin, and in second, origin has been migrated. That I hope everyone, those who have studied 12th mathematics, in that we have also learned that how to transform the origin. Yes or no? Hello? Yes or no? We can shift the origin 8 and 7 toward the object. And then that will be considered as an origin. It's mean that origin has been changed. Then also same kind of experience will be there. Same kind of experience will be there. But you tell me, as an human being, when we are going to apply this one or this one in a virtual world, which one will be easily acceptable by the user? Means VR sickness will be minimum. VR sickness. Whenever you are going to make this kind of object, then we have to take care of the VR sickness also. Na? What do you see, feel? What is your perception? When the object only move but origin is fixed, then more VR sickness, or every time object is fixed, I am moving and dragging the origin, where the VR sickness will be more? What do you feel? जल्दी बोलो. परसेप्शन
सर
जो भी.
मतलब ऐसे कैसे बता सकते हैं सर?
मतलब आपको क्या लगता है कि ओरिजिन को बार बार मैं चेंज कर रहा हूँ, ऑब्जेक्ट इज फिक्स एवरी टाइम, एंड सेकेंड वी आर मूविंग द ऑब्जेक्ट एवरी टाइम बट ओरिजिन इज फिक्स, मतलब यूजर फिक्स है, तो कहाँ पे आपको लगता है कि सिकनेस हो सकती है?
पर सर दोनों केस में यूजर को थोड़ी पता चलेगा कि ओरिजिन
नहीं,
मूव है क्या?
that is always going to be whenever during the implementation part, when we are going to do the VR implementation, we feel that the user is not going to know. Yes, by the, you can say, by the outcome, the user will not able to understand, because every time in the both scenario the object is going to close to the origin. But what our senses is there now, the senses, if going to interact with any scenario again and again, then it become habitual. But our senses are going to put effort more in some cases, and in some cases my senses is going to put least amount of you can say effort. So whenever our senses are going to put more effort to make the perception, then always there will be the VR sickness. But as an outcome, I will feel that both are giving the same experience, but my senses definitely is going to put the more effect. Whenever it will start to give the more effect, I will not realize it immediately, but after few minutes, few hours, I will feel some sickness like vomiting, headache, like this. Immediately it is not going to come, and even it is not in our control. So we feel what we feel, that we feel like that it is because of some other reason, maybe. But it is completely like, maybe you have heard the car sickness. When someone is very few people are going to get that kind of sickness, car sickness. So why those car sickness are there? The reason, sometimes people say it can be avoided, like if you give some candy, that is a sour candy, if you give, then also it is going to give some benefit to the person who is having the car sickness. Then why these things are going to be changed? It is only because of our senses. Okay, the car sickness immediately going to be reduced if you give some candy or Hajmola kind of thing. Same way here also, that is very, you can say, everything we cannot experience here. That is our problem, that we cannot experience and then we can realize it. Same way in VR sickness also, immediately the things are going to be changed. So every time by the research, it has been found that if you are going to change the origin every time, an object is going to be always permanent, you are going to change the site from where the user is going to view, then every time our senses are going to put lot of effort, and that kind of scenario always give more VR sickness in perspective to this one. And this is the statistical research that proved it, that the in this one the people are going to feel the VR sickness. Again I am saying, the VR sickness is not mandatory that everyone will get. It is similar to that is car sickness. Everyone is not getting the car sickness. Few people are getting, and that is what, that is because of whatever in their psychology or their body changes. Same may you might feel it that why, and we don't know the data that why someone is feeling car sickness, why someone is not feeling. Someone is enjoying the long drive, and someone after 10-20 kilometer of drive, they become very dull, very lazy, and headache, vomiting, everything start. So VR sickness is also like that. I cannot prove it that I will maybe in our class there is 140 student. Out of 140, maybe only 10 will feel the VR sickness. But what we have to do, as much we can avoid, we have to avoid. That's it. You cannot completely say that for everyone now this product is not going to give any kind of VR. That is cannot be said. Even I will say mobile VR box. So many applications of the mobile VR box. If you will test it, just test the mobile VR weakness, mobile VR box for the 100 people. Maybe 1 or 2 will feel the sickness. 110% 1 or 2 will feel it. Why? It is fully depends upon your you can say psychological build up process, your physique, your maybe because of your senses effort. That is because sometimes you also see that some people put lot of stress when they are seeing something, and that is because of their, maybe because of their sight capacity. Some people put a lot of stress when they are listening. That is because of their capacity of listening. Some people put lot of stress while speaking. Some people very softly speak and soft and loud, but someone when speak, then they may very putting lot of stress on their organs, which is going to produce the vocal system. And because of that you will feel that they have a lot of sweating also. The faces are going to be red sometime, and a lot of, you can say, the veins on the neck, you can see that that is very, you can say, very bulky and heavy at the time when they are speaking. That these all things are depends upon type of people, psychology. And psychology, you can say simply the body structures and their development in the cells, and what we cannot go in detail of the biological process that is happening. The same way is also here also. So that is research. By research it has been proved that whenever, if suppose one environment is following this one, this is W environment, which is following where the object is going to be only change, its position is going to change. Second object, suppose W2, which is in which the origin is going to be changed. So here, if the in this object the VR sickness out of 100, if the VR sickness is this 4 people, then here you can say the VR sickness out of 100 will be with 8 people. This is this kind of scenario. I'm not saying every time for everyone. This is just an kind, one kind of, you can say, perceptual data, statistical data in which it has been observed. So lot of application is based on this also, where the origin is going to change to do the position change. Second way is that change the object's position directly. That will also change. So both are fine, but statistics say that, surveys say that the sickness is more with the scenario where we are going to do these kind of changes. Is it okay? Hello?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Second, you guys might be started A frame also. So in A frame, you have seen that every time whenever you are going to include an object, the positions are going to be asked. Okay, so same way also when we are going to make A frame through a dynamic pages, and I want to show the movement in the object. So what we have to do, we have to just change every time the position parameter. Anyone remember that whenever we are including the object, we are putting the position? Remember? Hello?
Yes, sir.
So in the position you are passing x, y, z coordinate. So suppose you are going to give a motion in that. Now what you have to do? You have to change the in each time frame, or you can say for each animation. What you have to do? You have to just change the position. But how the position must be changed? It should not distort the object. It must not distort. That I have already said. It means that whenever you are going to change, you have to do the equal amount of change in each and every primitive. Each and every primitive, it must be equal, so that only you can say the undistorted object, and it will give a perception of change in position. So this is the topic which is called as a translation of the object or change in position. So it is additive only. You have to just do add on, and that additive can be positive or can be negative. Because if I'm writing this one x plus yt, so this, when I'm saying positive negative, it means that this yt can be positive and positive and negative. Okay, that is the meaning of that. That what the change you are going to do, that value can be positive or negative, but you have to add it. If my negative number, so definitely the outcome will be going to reduce the size, reduce the parameter of that primitive, means it will go close to the object origin. And if you are going to use positive, then it is going to, yes, someone said something. Anything anyone want to ask? Because I heard one noise. Someone saying something. I don't know. It is by mistake or someone want to ask. Okay. So this is the one topic which is known as position. So here the example that you are seeing is 2D, but same way you can do for the 3D. Only difference will be there. You have to do it for the X, Y, Z coordinate. That's it. And it is very tough to show it here, the three coordinate, how the shape will be there with respect to the all three. So only thing will be there x, y, z. So it will be z plus zt, and it will do the translation. So doing a translation or doing a change in position is very simple topic. The major topic that we have to learn is the orientation, or you can say rotation. That is a very complex process. Very complex process. In with respect to the translation. So here you can say today we will just go through the one topic. We have 3-4 minutes. So suppose this is the. I hope you are able to see. This one is the object. We can say this one. So here you can say the coordinate is 1 1, and here if I want to give that, it is suppose 0 to 1, x1 comma 0, and here you can say 0 comma 1. So this is the one object, and I want to apply some orientation over this object. So orientation is always going to be the multiplicative. What here translation is additive, and it is multiplicative. 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 So you can just tell me, I what kind of multiplication? Can I directly do the multiplication here? That it is 1 1, so I want to do 2 2. Here I will do 2 0. Here I will do 0 and 2. So this is showing the rotation or any kind of orientation change. If I just multiply each and every coordinate by 2, so it will show any kind of change in orientation or rotation.
No, sir.
What it will do?
It will scale.
Yes, it will make the object. So if you want to give some rotation, then it is not like that. You just I said that it is multiplicative. So it is multiplicative, but it is not in that fashion. It will be with the matrix multiplication. Matrix multiplication. So here in this, we will learn both rotation, scaling, and shearing. These all things we will learn here. When I have to rotate, then what kind of matrix we have to apply over each and every coordinate or each and every primitive. Each and every primitive. So here the matrix is given. If you want no change in an object, then this is the matrix that will be applied. If suppose in during the orientation you don't want any kind of change, then these parameter can be passed. And if you want to prove it that this will also, this is exactly going to do no changes. So suppose I said here to you that if this is the object and I don't want any change in this object, where the coordinate is like this, I will just write it 1 1. Here it is 1, not 1, yeah, 0 1 y coordinate. and this one is 1 0. I said you do the multiplication in the primitive with this one. So let us do the change with this one. So if I will convert it into matrix form, so it can be written like this one. 1 1. It is simply like this, x and y, x and y. So if I will apply this one, so it's mean that it is multiplicative. So 1 0 0 1. So first coordinate I am going to change, and I don't want any change. So let us see that same thing is going to be outcome or not. So what it will produce? First row with the column, second row with the column. So 1 into 1. So 1 plus 0 into 1, that is also 0. Second, 0 into 1, that is 0, plus 1 into 1, that is 1. So you can say the coordinate, that is this one, over which I applied this orientation, it is showing no change. It is again 1 and 1. It is again 1 and 1. Same way, if you will apply it with the other coordinate, like this one, suppose I am going to apply this is with this one. So again 1 0 0 1. Here if it is 0 1, what it will return? It will return 0 by, because 1 into 0 0 0 into 1, that is also 0. Second, 0 into 0, that is 0, plus 1 into 1, that is 1. So again the return is same, so that is 0 1. But you have to apply with all primitive. You cannot leave that this orientation is applied only in one. So now if you will apply with this one, this point, then again you will get the 1 0 again. I'm not going to show it. So that you can say this kind of orientation is going to give no change. This kind of orientation is going to give no change. Now, if I will apply this one, suppose this one, minus 1 0, this orientation, where we are going to apply minus 1 0 0 and minus 1, then what will happen? Then what will happen? What kind of changes are going to take place in our coordinate? Okay, so now I'm not going to continue. In the next lecture we see the more effect, as well as I will see, because we started with 2D, now we will shift it to the 3D also, because to understand on 2D, to make a perception, it is easy, and after that when we will transform to the 3D, then it will help us to understand, because all the rotation that we are doing here in the 3D will be known as this word, that is yaw, pitch, pitch, and raw. So it is yaw is going to be y-axis, around the y-axis, pitch is against the x-axis, and this will be against the z-axis. That we have to also learn. Okay, that I will do in the next lecture. Thank you guys. So if anyone have anything, because for the 2-3 lecture the mathematics will go on. Fine. So, and I think it is very simple, because it is already you all know the matrix multiplication, translation maybe you had, but we are going to do the practice more in the coming lectures. So till now I hope you have gotten one perception that when we are changing the position or orientation of the object, then what is happening as a backbone, in a backbone, or you can say mathematically what is really changing. Okay, so thank you. If anything you want to ask, then please. Nothing?
No, sir, no doubt.
Okay, so thank you. And this all whatever I am teaching you is from the Steven book. So you can refer the book whenever you are getting time. Please once refer it, then it will become more clear. Do some practice of the mathematics, so that when question paper will be there, few mathematics will be asked. Okay, so do the exercise continuously, and if you have anything to discuss, you can discuss with me. Thank you. You may leave.
Thank you, sir.